All right, hey there, Taj. This is the Taj verse. Out here again recording. Been a few days or so since the last one. So today, this video is going to be about creating a process and becoming the expert once you've done so. So there's different things that come into creating a process, getting familiar with something. But let's say you're diving into something new that you haven't done yet. First, you need to get a little bit of knowledge. You got to start doing it. You don't have to have all the knowledge in the world before you start, because starting, being a part of the thing, doing it actively, consistently, you are going to get better at it, and you're going to learn some things that you wouldn't just from watching and studying it. So that's an important piece of the puzzle. One thing that I say is a huge component, which just makes a lot of things easier, is flow state. When you are harnessing flow state of sorts, you just get better faster. It becomes natural. It's like a subconscious knowing of how to get good at something, and you're taking in more. So when people talk about flow state, it is typically hyper awareness of your surroundings, of yourself. So you are getting more bang for your buck as far as the experience that you've taken in. So when you've done that, you are squeezing every ounce of juice out of that thing you're doing. Doesn't matter what it is. And then I've talked about flow state a little bit. One thing that is very prevalent to me and flow state is the fact that if you experience it enough, you might say that you feel a bit of a time dilation, meaning that time feels like it flows slower than usual. So it's more memorable. Think like even in watching something like a World Series finals for the NBA, people are in a flow state of spectatorship because it is high stakes. It's really important. So people are going to remember that moment. Let's say, watching Michael Jordan, people are going to remember that moment for years, decades, even more, with media and such. So the moment is more valuable. So it's just going to be better for your process. So you need to relax. You need to relax. If you're super tense, you don't fully tap into that flow state. You're not getting that subconscious expert point of view. You're not adapting quickly. So you need to relax. That's the key to it. So starting a process, what does that look like? You want to have knowledge of what you're doing, be around people. And once you've gotten the gist of what that activity entails, let's say you're a painter, maybe you do some sort of warm-up where you scribble about, it doesn't have to be good or really look or resemble anything. And that just gets your brain flowing, and you're letting go of perception of what a thing needs to be. At that point, you can just free yourself to the opportunity, and whatever comes of it, comes of it. You don't have to succeed at it. And a lot of times that actually makes it so that you do, because you're open to opportunity. So you know the space, you know what you're doing, you have a general idea, like a warm up to something, knowing what pattern to fall into. If it's a difficult thing, sometimes letting go, let it be easier or feel easier. And if it's more difficult, maybe it's the mechanics, the repetitive movement or actions that you're taking place in. So knowing all those components, really honing in on them, and just letting it feel natural. So let's say, for example, filming this process. I'm not very far into refining it, but I am getting better. It's getting more fine-tuned and faster. So for this, I put a camera down. Initially, it was just me rambling, talking about anything. Now, I make quick notes or jot down points of just what I'm thinking about and how it can be a message. So that's just little tools that you can have in your tool set to make the thing easier. And then it's really just falling into those patterns that you know are going to happen, and then making them more apparent, more impactful. And then once you have a system down or a template, you can do it again. And then once you do it again and again and again, it's going to be easier, and you're going to get into it faster. And then you have this deeper immersion into what you're doing. So that just happens over time. And the more you do it, the easier it's going to be to do. And what I would say is, you could have gotten really good at one thing, right? And because maybe you don't know that you did it, that you made a process, you probably have, right? And once you've made a process in one space or activity, you can do that again somewhere else. So let's say you are an athlete's always a good example for me, because I resonate with that. Let's say you're an athlete. You play basketball, right? You know what your warm up looks like. You know the actions you have to take to get good, to sink in and immerse yourself in the activity, get in that flow state. You can do that when you enter a new sport. So let's say it's lacrosse. Similar components. There's a ball. There's teammates. So you just adapt to those circumstances because you've done something similar, and you've adapted a process, or getting into that calm flow state sense and working with people. So it's recognizing similar elements that you're using again. So it's going to be easier. So you refine that process, you get good at it, you get people involved. And you don't have to get people involved. It can just be your thing. That's fine. This is a big one right here. So a lot of people don't want to be in charge. They don't want to have authority over the thing they're doing, whether it's just them or the people around them are in it as well, right? So having authority means letting go of past perceptions. That could be, you've never had authority before. You've never been in charge. So you might think, I don't have that. I haven't done that. So what means that I should now? So you let that go. Maybe you let go of what you think of being an authority is, being an authority figure. You might view being an authority as some negative, tyrannical, I'm in charge and no one else's opinion means anything, which should be wrong. That should be the wrong state or opinion that you have on it. But it can be letting go of all those things that you don't think about, but do rule over you. So that's a tough one. I still work on that myself, but I'll talk more about that later. But in most cases, not all, no one will give you the green light to be in charge. You have to take ownership. Some people might nudge you, but it has to eventually be your choice to take charge. And you can put it off. You don't have to be in charge, right? It's a choice, it's a decision. But when you do, you will realize you will understand things better. You will have more value. You will believe that the thing you're doing has more value because it's all on you, or primarily on you, to hold yourself and other people accountable. So recognize that you give yourself the green light. So do it. Doesn't have to be a lot of pressure. Just decide. So I guess I'll go into a bit of my experience with what's currently going on. So this page is a bit different. It's not super related to my fitness, the things I've trained, but it probably will be incorporated. I have trained acrobatics, a mix of similar to gymnastics, some martial arts, like capoeira, or even, well, taekwondo, really anything. Anyways, I've trained in that discipline, not formally trained, but I've trained for 6+ years. So I have a bit of skill, I have knowledge, in what makes people good in that space, and I think I've gotten decent. So that being the case, I have some experience. I've coached people. I just took on a client that I'm coaching, and she's learning. She's learning. She's enthusiastic. I like it. So allowing myself to be the expert, allowing myself to be the authority, it's not that I'm presenting something new that I haven't done. Maybe in the way I'm doing it is new, but I am an expert. And so when you admit that and you allow yourself to expand and grow in that capacity and exercising your authority, you will grow more. You will get more out of it. So that's one thing. I am planning, well, I have planned, and I will be choreographing a stunt fight today. Not the first time I've done it, not the first part I've been a part of one. Still relatively new for me. But I had a lot of knowledge and I'd seen a lot of it before doing much of it myself. And I perceive myself as, I'm just a guy. Like, I'm not an expert, I don't do it. So it means I'm not good or I shouldn't be an authority. And I'm starting to believe that some of that is wrong, because in this specific circumstance that I am in, I am taking more of the lead role. I am planning things, and it's like you can be an expert at a different level, and that's important. So you can be an expert to the people with a lower skill level or knowledge than you, or you can be an expert of experts, of people that are good at it, that have been doing it a while. So don't assume that you can never be in charge, that you can never take ownership, because it's a matter of environment, right? If there's no one there to fill a role or rise to an occasion, a skill set needed, you are now the expert. So you can admit it. You can claim that for yourself. So that's a cool thing. And I'm going to just exercise it. It's going to get better quickly because I know the space. I know what I'm doing. It's just repetition. So claim yourself to be the authority, claim yourself to be the expert, because you probably are at something that you've been doing, but you just don't take ownership. So it's about time, right? So in various spaces, mostly in the physical sense as an athlete and such, I have evolved to become more of the expert and say that I am. I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm not saying I'm the smartest or most able, capable, but I do know my stuff, right? I do know my stuff. And I went from doubting to choosing to be the expert. And you're just going to learn a lot more because you put yourself to a higher standard. You want to meet that standard and you view things as always being able to be improved. And that's what's really going to take you further, and, stop you from putting yourself down, like having some ceiling, some glass ceiling that you look through, but you don't want to go through. So that is important. And that's going to sum up today's message. Rambling a little bit, but I did have my stuff to talk about. So choose to be the expert, get knowledgeable, get around people. You can be the expert even if you're not the best. You can be the expert in your environment. So I want you to take that to heart today. Exercise that authority, exercise that expert point of view, and go out there and make something. That's my whole thing. That's my whole thing for this channel, what I want to promote. Get used to your process, refine it. Define it for yourself, what's important, what's going to make you better. And then, you can disband some things and you can add new things. So that's it for today. Remember, the day is great. Decide that before it starts, and it will be. And you have a great one. Peace.